Welcome to another AMA with Kadena Ecosystem. In this episode, we'll be speaking with the team from Pit Bull Bushido. This conversation was recorded on May 3rd, 2023, live on Twitter Spaces. The views and expressions in this AMA do not represent the views of Kadena Ecosystem directly and are not to be considered as financial advice. Please make sure to do your own research on the projects presented. Also, make sure to follow and subscribe to our account to be alerted of new uploads. Now let's get started. Enjoy. Welcome everybody to another AMA with Kadena Ecosystem. We have back with us today Pit Bull Bushido, who just started their mint on the brand new Isoko marketplace. So welcome back. Good to have you guys back here.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So why don't we just start off with the usual kind of just going over what Pit Bull Bushido is and what it's about, and we'll just kind of go from there.
All right. So thanks for having us back, Chris, and it's always good to be here telling everybody about what we're doing. So Pit Bull Bushido is a collection of 47 samurai characters. If you would like to see, of course, what they look like, check your wallet if you were a Kawaii Canine minter, because we've already finished an airdrop. Or you can go to our website, pitbullbushido-list.com, and you can see all of the NFTs in the collection. The characters are all based on historical figures of samurai. They're also divided into the 7 virtues of Bushido. And as you look through the collection, you'll see different color schemes. Blue, for example, is integrity. Red, heroic courage. Gray, respect, and so on and so forth. And so for this collection, we decided to try to make it similar to a character trading card game, just with NFTs. So the goal is to see if you can collect all 47 characters. At this time, Isoko is also working on their marketplace. So once that is up and running, we will be able to have people trading them, listing them for sale, and then also being able to see what's available. They can also go to that same website, pitbullbushido-list, and download a form, or just look through it and see which ones you're missing, which ones you have extra. Then you can sell any extra you have, and then use that money to buy the ones you need. And then hopefully, if you can collect all 47 characters, you'll be one of the first. At most, there could be 47 people that collect, but because there will be people who have received NFTs that aren't active in the space anymore, we know that that number has already dropped. So there won't be very many who will be able to collect all 47. So it kind of makes it a little bit more special, I guess you could say, if you're one of those who can do that. If you complete your full set of 47 samurai, if you are able to collect all 47 of the NFTs over time, currently we don't have a time limit set because the marketplace isn't up yet, but we're just waiting for this to happen over time. Once that does happen, once you can start collecting them and selling them to build your sets, we will then send a physical deck of character cards based on this same collection to those who collect all 47. So if you collect all 47 of the characters, you'll then be mailed a deck of cards, which we're currently in the final stages of designing. We also do want to try to send or include with this package a beta test of the card game, because what we're trying to do is to build a physical or in real life card game similar to like a trading card game of Magic the Gathering or Pokemon or something like that. And that way it's tying in Web3, virtual cards, these NFTs with something physical that you can then have in the real world. And of course, if you go to our websites, you can see that our end game is to eventually have a digital version of the game. But of course, that takes time and a lot of money, and we don't want to put too much into that when before we've reached that stage. So for now, we're going to be sticking with more of the physical aspect. And yeah, we are minting now on Isoko at 7 KDA each. We did send out one for one samurai to each person who minted kawaii canines. We can get into a little bit of that next, explaining how that worked. But yeah, that's a basic summary of what's going on with Pit Bull Bushido.
Now, to go back a little bit in the history, you guys had started originally minting your Kawaii K9s and Angel Doggos over on, which seems to be now the defunct Mintit platform. Just to keep everyone kind of in the loop, have you heard anything from their team or anything, or any prospects of, like, we last time I believe we spoke, you were looking at hopefully maybe minting out the rest of the collections and giving them away or something like that. Has there been any update or progress on that at all?
So with the Kawaii canines, I'll just kind of go ahead and explain the original plan. So the original plan was to have them be part of the story. So the story originally went that the Kawaii canines were going to be part of our world, which is why they look somewhat similar to the samurai, because we started creating these collections in the same at the same time. We wanted to do NFT collections that were slightly different in style, but were connected by our overarching story. So the Kawaii canines were going to represent a group of, like children basically, who get taken back in time to be taught the virtues of their ancestors, which would be the samurai or the Pit Bull Bushido collection. But when we started minting out the canines, all was going well until we reached a little over 1/3 minted, and that was just all organic. We were just pushing it on Twitter and in different spaces, trying to get people to mint, and they were minting, and all was going well. And then over Christmas, we were trying to do some big giveaways, and that's when some problems started happening. At this time, I don't even know what's going on. I have sent some messages that I haven't heard back from. I know that they are available in a way on high percent right now, but that's because the image hosting for them is different. I know I checked this myself. If you look at Cadify, or if you look at the wallets of people who are holding them, they're not visible. The Kawaii canines are not visible anymore. And that, I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means that their image hosting lapsed and they haven't renewed it, so it's officially dead. Uh, if I was being realistic, that's probably what happened. If I was trying to be optimistic, then I could say, well, hey, maybe they're trying to edit their contracts. But it's been almost going on 6 months now with no update, a real update at all. So, with that being said, we kind of just had to leave that behind. We were wanting to mint out the rest and airdrop them to holders. We were trying to figure out a way to revive or at least keep that project alive. At this time, though, I do not know how that would be able to happen. I had looked at trying to get the keys to the contract, but that won't happen because they have the contract all tied in together. All the contracts of projects that minted on there are all tied in together. So that won't happen. And so basically, I just don't have control of the collection. When we were looking for a place to mint the Samurai collection, Pit Bull Bushido, we were blessed to have been put in contact with the team from Isoko, because these guys have been great. They have proven to live with all the virtues of Bushido, and especially the first one, integrity. It's been great, and so we appreciate them and their help in getting the collection out there. For this collection, we do have the keys to the contract. They did do it in a different way so that when you met with them, you are in control, and so that is awesome. Along with a few other things that they did, and that's been a huge help, and I guess you could say a burden taken off of us, because we did not want to lose control of this collection. Same thing goes with Angel Doggos. Angel Doggos was a different type of collection that we had done, where we were wanting to reward holders with, like, custom artwork of their own pets. With the Angel Doggos, I know that we have a few that have not yet received uh, their customized artwork in return. I believe most already have. We only sold just a handful of those, and so we're trying to go back through and make sure that we can get all of those squared away. It's just been really, we just had a lot going on over the past 6 months, I'd say, in our own lives. We've been moving. My wife had gotten sick over the end of the year. We're right in the middle of us trying to do all of that. She had caught dengue fever on one of these outer islands, and so she was out for a while. And so we've just had to sadly see those two projects just kind of be put on ice. But this collection with Pit Bull Bushido, we've been working on since July of last year, and Christina did all of the artwork, and we tried to make it some in a way that it would be different than other NFT projects that you see. That's why we've done this where it's 47 characters, but duplicates are out there, 47 of each. So the end game is to see if you can sell off your duplicates and complete your set of 47, just to make it, different, something different. And we also decided to uh, go ahead and give everyone who minted a Kawaii Canine a free samurai from this collection. So the way it happened was we just took a snapshot of all the holders of the Kawaii Canines, and the team at Isoko were great and very helpful in getting all these airdrops out to everyone. And so everyone should have already received them. And you can then, if you want to see what you have, just go to Isoko's website, click on the collection, connect your wallet, and scroll down, and you'll see them under your NFTs.
Now that's going to kind of lead me into my next question, which was going to be why you guys decided, of all the different marketplaces and launch pads that are now available on Kadena, what drew you into Isoku? A lot of obviously, like you just said, they're a really great team. We've spoken with them as well. We actually have an AMA coming up with them next week or the week after, I believe. So very plus, they're a well-respected team around the community already, which people will learn more about probably during our AMA. But what other features and what other things really locked you into going with them as the launch pad for this project?
Well, for starters, we had spoken with Arcade, and they were great guys. They had actually already were in the process of adding us into upcoming drops, and then they were trying to work on upgrading their site, and they had a lot going on their end. And then uh, I think some in their community also were afraid of having another rug being listed with Arcade. So uh, we didn't really want to have to spend all of our time convincing everybody. So we would rather just let our collection speak for itself instead of having to always hop in Discord and Telegram and everywhere, being like, hey, this is what we're doing. We're not associated with any other minted project. No, we didn't drug everybody and constantly having to explain ourselves. We'd rather just let the project speak for itself without constantly engaging to keep keep people from uh, basically bad mouthing you. And that was one of the aspects or the reasons why. And then the second was it was going to take some time to get their updates going. And then I believe they decided to consolidate to try to just build on the projects that they've launched. And so for them, that's the way they were going, and the way we were wanting to go was slightly different because we were also trying to find a way to make sure that our contracts would be our own. And uh, so we started looking around. We spoke to Hypercent. Again, those guys are great as well. However, there were some things we were talking with them about, and we, at the same time, started speaking with Isoko, and Isoko basically just jumped in, and they were like, "Whatever you want, we can do it," and we totally understand. And it was really good, and so we just went with the best. We went with the best pitch to what we needed as the creators of this collection. And so we believe that the guys at Arcade, they're great. I liked talking to them; they were very helpful. As well as the team at Hypercent, they're great guys. I know they're working hard, and we appreciate what they were and are trying to do to get the Minted collections up. I think that they might be fighting a losing battle with that because just with the situation being out of all of our control. But hopefully for them, they can get that back, and hopefully they can continue what they're working on. But we just went with Isoko because it really was the best fit for what we were looking for.
Yeah, I kind of agree that Hypercent might be biting off more than they can chew when it comes to trying to resurrect a lot of these minted projects, because like you said, if the image hosting that Minted decided to use is no longer available or something like that, then there's a good chance that those images and those NFTs are just gone nowadays, and there's not really much anyone can do at that point besides fully reminting them with the old files and everything, which would just be a lot really to handle with. But one good thing about the fact that Isoko is also a Marmalade standard NFT marketplace and launchpad is that any marketplace that also indexes the Marmalade ledger will also be able to host the same NFTs on their marketplace. So there is a very good chance that in the future your NFTs will be able to, the Pit Bull Bushidos will also be able to be on both the Hypercent marketplace and the Isoko marketplace at the same time, which just opens up more doors to the community and more people to be able to get eyes on your project. So really, it's kind of win-win for everyone in those kind of situations. And it was just a matter, like you said, of the Isoko team seems to be very good at adapting to the needs of a project. We actually spoke last week with Secret Garden of Kadena, and they said the same kind of thing, where they were looking for certain features and stuff, and Isoko was very good at just finding ways to make it happen and making all the different things that they wanted to see come to fruition with their mint, make it easily. So very happy to hear though that you're feeling very confident and happy with the choice you've made, and it's obviously seemed to work, since I'm looking at your mint right now and you're already at 32% sold, so 710 of 2209. Now the overall number of 2209, does that include the airdrops as well, or is that the 710 that have been minted? Is that actual people that have gone to the site and hit that mint button?
Yeah, the 2209 also includes the airdrop. So the airdrop, I believe, was 582. We also have a few set aside, not very many, for a team wallet for us to use in giveaways, but the rest are all people who have gone to mint. I think one slight delay that we probably had with the mint going out at the beginning was people were waiting for the airdrop. So we were glad to see the airdrop happen so quickly, so that now people can go ahead and see them in their wallets. Of course, it's in a way it's almost free advertising, because people, if they log in and check their wallet, obviously you can't do that right now on Cadify. Hopefully that is available soon. But if people think, hey, you know what, I had minted some canines, let me log into Isoko and see, they'll see their samurai in their wallets. And then also, with the price being set at 7 KDA higher, the floor price for mint, Kawaii Canines was 5. So with the airdrop, you were receiving NFTs that were slightly higher floor priced. So already you're technically in the green. I know with NFTs, nothing's guaranteed. So that was a little bit of a bonus, trying to raise the price a little bit. So it was a little bit of a bonus to everybody who had minted canines. And then also, if as time goes on, people realize that they really do want to collect all 47, then if you only have, like, say 5 or 10 samurai that you received for, for free, basically, in reward for having minted kawaii canines, of course, you will then be able to have the option of listing those for sale, and you could list them for pretty much any price you wanted to, and however much people are willing to pay to be able to complete their set. If you have one of the NFTs that they need, uh, that'll make everybody a little bit of money. So we were trying to do it in a way that rewards people, even if they just decide to go and mint some now just to hold them, even if they're not really looking to complete their set, just want to mint some and hold some in case, because we are trying to drive the value, or the, I guess, the pressure on aftermarket sales, just to make everyone potentially some money, down the line as things go on.
Now, of the 7 different virtues, I'm not sure if we've mentioned this before or not, is any of them rarer than another? Like, is there less of one group of 7 than there is of another, which then would make, people be harder to find those, which would cause the after sale marketplaces on those specific ones to go up? Or is it kind of even spread across the board?
There is only one virtue that has less than the rest, and that is the last one, loyalty. So all 7 virtues, well, 6 of the 7 virtues were have 7 characters each, and then the last virtue, loyalty, only has 5. And as you can see, if you go by color scheme, it kind of helps divide it out a little bit. So again, the virtues are integrity, respect, heroic courage, honor, compassion, sincerity, and then loyalty. And we also do have them divided by rank, and by rank I mean by samurai rank. So there is only one shogun, that is Tokugawa. And then there are a few daimyos, and they are also scattered throughout. There are, I think the most would be samurai, and then one that's also a little bit more rare would be a ronin. There are also certain traits that are in the collection. Of course, these were all drawn individually, so they're not based off of the same character, other than the head. That's the only thing that unifies them, is the shape of the head. We have each character different, so they all have basically they all have different types of weapons. Most, of course, would have katanas. Some have katanas and tantos, which are the shorter blades. We have some who have spears, some who have matching sets of swords, the daisho. We have a few that are holding like special little items, like fan. There's one character that has a fan, and he's like the only one that has a fan, the only character. So there are certain traits that you can see if you look at accessories. You will see, for instance, you might see like only 2% or whatever have this trait, but that would make it quite rare, because you have to remember there's 47 of each one. And as they come out, you'll start to see the numbers, adjust a little bit, so you can see what the final tally would be for the percentages. But as, of course, with Tokugawa, he's the most rare, because, of course, he's the only shogun. He's the only one that has face paint. Also, his weapon, the Muramasa sword, is he's the only character that has that. We also have already completed the numbers, the strength numbers, I guess you could say, attack and defense numbers for the card game. We are basing that off of what weapons they have, or what armor or lack of armor they have in their character. And you can see that there's a lot of variation in that. So we are currently in the final stages of figuring out those numbers. There's actually a guy who knows card games, who's going to be helping us try to take all the numbers that we have and see if there's any adjustments that need to be made to make it a little bit more easily playable. And then we're going to just put all of that stuff that you see in the metadata will be then translated to the physical character cards.
So let's talk a little bit more about these physical cards themselves, because I'm sure a lot of people, in the NFT space aren't used to hearing about physical things in an NFT world, because usually, everything's just digital and on your phone. So can you maybe like give people an idea of when they say I'm able to actually collect all 47 and snag myself one of these really cool packs of cards? What will the cards look like? And like, will there be like on the front I'm assuming on the front will pretty much be like the picture of the NFT. And then on the back would have the listing of like the metadata information, like the weapons and the rank and all of that kind of stuff. Can you maybe just give a quick rundown of what the pack would look like? And like when you said you're going to include kind of like a trial version of what the game is that going to be like, there's just going to be an extra card kind of in the deck that has the rules and how you play the game? Also, like, is it going to come in a special like box or tin or anything like that for these? Because I think we've mentioned before in one of our previous AMAs that there's going to be the card collection specifically for the 47 people who collect all of the collection, but then there's also going to be non-collector editions of the deck that people are going to be able to buy. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but maybe people would love to hear a little bit more about what these cards entail.
All right. Well, some good questions. The cards, basically, for me to describe them, is for I guess you could say the back of the card. What people would see when they're playing against each other would be a uniform picture or design, which would say Islands of Demea, which would be the name of the game, basically. The front of the back of the card, the part that you would see, would be a picture of the NFT, the character, surrounded with some designs and whatnot. Keeping it simple so it's easy to read, but also making it a little bit fancy. And below the picture of the NFT at the top, you would see the listing of the items, the strength numbers, the defense numbers, the attack numbers, basically. And at the top, you would have the character's name. There's a few other details that we're still trying to work out because we're wanting to make sure that we make it in a way that makes sense and it's easy to play. But the deck of cards, as it stands right now, the deck of cards would be the 47 characters and then 8 additional cards because the printer that we're working with currently says that we can have 55 cards per deck. So we would have the 47 characters, excuse me, and then 8 additional cards. The additional cards would be basically power-up cards or bonus cards. We're working on that. They would also come with a booklet, which would be a separate thing explaining the rules, the final rules for which we, there again, are still kind of working that out. But basically, it'll be a very simple, it could be played by multiple players. It's basically sudden death rounds over and over again until the last man standing wins. We're working on some details for that. Of course, it's all still very much on paper. We've ordered a few sample cards so we can see what exactly we want them to end up looking like. We have a few pictures and videos of those on Twitter and our website. But for the final product, that's what we're working on now. Now, I know we have some time. Obviously, there may be a couple of people having finished their collections, soon. But what we will need is, of course, if you're active in the space and you've collected all the 47 samurai, I would need you to reach out to me with your wallet address so that, of course, I can check it. Then I can get your address. We'll have a form to fill out for that. And then the cards, I'm thinking, should be available possibly by the end of summer. If there's any delays at all, it would be probably at maybe around the fall time, but we're trying to do it this summer. It just depends on us being able to complete. We want to make sure that when we send it out, it's actually playable, and we're not just sending you a deck of cards that won't be of any use to you. And so with that, we're working with a few people to try to work that out. For as what they will come in, we want to do a 10. Unfortunately, as you know, with the cost of everything and with the minting, we currently don't have enough money coming in to do, you know, like way over the top manufacturing like we would like to do. But they will come in some sort of a special edition packaging, whether that be a box or a bag or something, and then you will be able to have that deck of cards, and you can either then just keep them in your, you know, keep them in the package, keep them on display. You can play with them. There will be another version of the cards that would be available through the manufacturer, where you would then be able to just come in and order a deck, but they would not be the same. They would also not be as fancy. As an example, I don't think they'll have the. We're planning on trying to do like a gold sheen on the special edition ones, so we wouldn't be having that on the average run of the mill cards that would be for sale. And then as time goes on, we want to release a deck of cards which with every collection. So we could talk a little bit more about future collections, but there's a little bit of a base rundown of how the samurai cards will work. The game should be able to be played whether you were playing against a different faction or within its own faction, which is what we're trying to work out.
Well, this is the first time I've really heard of future collections past Pit Bull. You may have mentioned it last AMA. I'm not really too sure. I do so many AMAs nowadays. Everything kind of gets jumbled up together. But definitely excited to hear that the decks are coming to fruition. The mint is happening. People seem to be picking up, and you've only had the mint open for 3 days. I guess today would be the third day. Really, 30 minutes ago from when it went live, I believe, or no, it was like 6 p.m. UTC, so 2 p.m. my time. So it's been live for just over 3 days now. So you're doing pretty good so far as the mint go, even though the whole Kadena ecosystem right now seems to kind of be in a bit of a slump, and people don't really seem to be wanting to part with their KDA for really any reason or anything. But I think you guys definitely have a very good use case and something that's very unique and different to not just the Kadena NFT space, but the NFT space as a whole. I can't remember any other project I've heard of offering like a actual physical card game. Usually it's just a digital thing that you connect your wallet to, and then it just reads from there, which is also in the plans that you said, but obviously down the line as funding is going to be much more needed for something like that. So definitely something that in the future would be very cool to see. But just the fact that you're bringing a physical and digital world together, I think sets you guys on a different plateau from other NFT projects. And the fact, like you said earlier, of people saying how, oh, just because you were on Minted and there was all these issues that you guys are just another, group of ruggers or whatever. But I've talked to you now for, between Kawaii K9s and Pit Bull Bushidos at least 3, 4, maybe 5 times now, and I definitely don't get any kind of vibe like that. If anything, I feel you're one of the more genuine projects in the space, and have definitely shown that you're here because a lot of projects, if they were put in your position after what happened with your K9s and Angel Doggo collections, would just be like, well, screw this, like it's just, I don't want to have to go through this anymore. It's just a pain, and all the hard work kind of get pushed back and get with all these setbacks. But obviously you guys are pushing forward, and Pit Bull Bushidos are now out and live. And you just mentioned something that I'm sure many people listening would be very much more interested to hear about, and that is future plans beyond the Pit Bulls. So why don't we maybe just go a little bit into that?
Yeah, well, thanks for all that. We appreciate that. We've been trying to do what we can. It has been difficult from time to time, but we are glad that we've gotten this far. With Pit Bull Bushido, it's the first faction of the islands of Jamaica. It's also probably going to be one of the largest collections with the grand total of 2209. The next collection that we're planning is we're still finalizing some plans with that, but Christina's already started on the artwork. We're planning on doing the Shiba Shinobi collection next, or the Shiba Nobi. They are going to be the next faction in the story that will make an appearance. We don't have very many. We already have a pretty good working idea of how that collection is going to be divided up, how it's going to work, but we'll share those details later on. All I can say for now is that collection will be much smaller. The price point will probably be set much higher because there will possibly only be at most 100 of them. So the collection would be smaller. After that collection, we do have plans for another faction, which would be a Viking themed faction. We have a few other factions in this world that we've already created the storylines for. And then, of course, we have the evil faction, or the Verkaya warriors and their commander. And if you go to my Twitter page and you scroll down, you may have to go back in time a little bit. Well, we had released a video of a comic book storyline that we had done. So we had actually hired a comic book artist. Christina was originally going to do it herself, but we're in the middle of moving, and just we had a whole lot going on. And so we actually got somebody to do the storyline for us because it was just going to be quicker. I had written the story, obviously, but we just sent all of our details to someone who was able to put it together into a comic book form, and then we just turned that into a video. So there's a little bit of a visualization of the story. So in that short scene, I think it's like just over 2 minutes long, you'll see Tokugawa and Miyamoto being confronted with General Napura, who is sent by Lord Vatima to tell them, basically that he's coming. And that kind of gives you a little bit of a feel for what the vibe is that we're going for. Because of the Kawaii Canine situation and the reason our story has changed, or we already went through all that, we kind of are just going full fantasy mode with the Islands of Demea. So it's just going to be its own world, and we already have the story written out. I've been writing it as we go along, but it's turning out pretty interesting. What our plan is to release the different factions of the game, basically introduce them. Probably at the beginning of each launch, possibly do another section of the comic book as basically a promo video. So the next one we're envisioning would be the samurai going to the shinobi to look for help, because of course they're gathering for this attack that the Verkaya are about to do. There will be some other tidbits of story thrown throughout, but once all of that is put together, then all the factions will be slowly coming out. And then you can either then order the add-on pack of cards from the website. You would be able to collect the NFTs. The NFTs for future collections, we will have to figure out what that'll mean, because obviously we won't be able to do free decks of cards for each collection, because this would not be cost effective. But we'll figure that out as time goes on. But what we do know is that we want to release different factions as NFTs as the collections come out, and then eventually, in the end, you would then be able to see how the game is played, and so we would have a set of rules set for that. So each faction, each player would be a different faction, and then you would just basically have to play it off of each other until the last person standing wins there again. So that's the basic outline of where we're headed. For the digital game, would be similar in fashion. We do have some ideas for some different types of games we would like to do. Digital wise, we would like to do like a strategy game, which I have a lot of ideas for. Maybe just a short little battle style. Imagine like Street Fighter game, if you will, where you basically have to work through different levels until you finally get to the main boss. Stuff like that. We have a lot of different ideas for that, but for now we're just sticking with the IRL cards because that's what we can do and that's what makes this different. and hopefully a little bit more engaging.
So I pinned a post. I believe that's the video you were speaking of, is it not?
That is it.
Awesome. So if anyone wants to go check that out, it is, I've already seen it a couple times. I've watched it. It's a really cool video, and definitely believe a comic book based on this would be very fitting as well, like a manga kind of comic book set in the style with the Pit Bull Bushidos. Now, you mentioned that the next collection is going to be a Shiba base, which is kind of they're going to have to be pretty powerful because, you know, Shibas against pit bulls, you know, pit bulls are going to tear right through a Shiba in like 2 seconds. So hopefully these things are pretty powerful to be able to stand up against these pit bull samurais, especially, you know, you got a pit bull with a sword. You know, these things are going to be pretty scary versus a Shiba, but everyone loves a Shiba dog. You know, it's, if they didn't, there wouldn't be a Shiba coin on almost every single network, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, it's kind of like the opposite Doge, like the Bizarro Doge dog kind of thing, even though the Doge dog is pretty much a Shiba. But yeah, that's very cool to see that you're continuing with the dog theme. Are they also going to be kind of like an Asian anime manga kind of theme artwork as well?
Yes. So the collection will be based in, of course, like feudal style Japan. Yeah, they will be a little bit. There will be a little bit of an added difference to them. As an example, let's just say they would even the playing field with poison. So that would be something that they can do that the samurai cannot. So the samurai is just basically brute strength and defense. The Shiba Shinobi will have to be a little bit more, uh, I guess, tactful in what they can do. So just to kind of give you a little idea, so the samurai from the island of Kadu, they will have to go across the channel to the fortress in the bamboo forest where the Shiba Shinobi live, and they're going to have to ask them for help with this imminent threat. We also might have a little bit of a flash to another angle of the story where you see it from the Verkaya's perspective. So we're trying to keep all of that in mind as we're world building to keep it interesting. We also have some ideas that we were brainstorming yesterday that will show just how powerful the Verkaya warriors are, how strong Lord Vatima is. There's also we're going to make it a little bit mysterious as to who Lord Vatima is. You won't really know fully too much about his character until later on in the story. So we have a lot of ideas worked out for that. It should be pretty interesting, and we do like the idea of the comic book. We were originally planning, and we still are planning on possibly selling the pages of the comic book as NFTs, and then if someone buys one, that would make them basically uh, someone kind of like Patreon, I guess. You know, someone who's really involved in the development. We kind of just threw that in the back burner now, though, because honestly, with the design, we have our own plans. We know basically how we want it to go, so we're just kind of just trying to make it a community thing, but more of like we're bringing stuff to you, and hopefully, as we bring more stuff out, more and more people will really enjoy it.
Well, I really love the whole fact that you guys are not just pumping out different collections for the sake of pumping out collections, and that they all have a general theme that ties them all together. And it's obviously you're spending a lot of time on the story wise of this to make sure that, you know, every collection has its place, every character in the collections have its place in the story. There's an overall story arc to it, and even like you said, leaving some suspense into the villains, things like that. Really, it's just going to add to the character of the whole island of Demea kind of theme that you guys are building and world that you're building, because really, you have to build the foundation to build the future games, comic books, even the card game, things like that. They have to have some kind of story or something behind them for people to really get connected with them, not just the awesome art that your fine missus there does for you, which is very awesome. I'm very kind of blown away by, like, it's not, it's, people are like, oh, it's not the best art. I'm like, but this is hand drawn art. I'm like, there's a big difference between hand drawn art and someone who does, like, just digital kind of rendering things in like a blender, or like even just AI art or something like that. So, a lot of work and effort is obviously going into these collections, which then I believe really, in my opinion, should add more value to them overall, because it shows that there's actual passion, there's actual skill, and behind all of these things, and actual love and time has been put into building these things. And the fact that you guys are just coming together and making this all happen, and that you've been very open in the community. You've been doing a lot of these AMAs with us. Your Discord is very open. You guys are always in there talking to your community, making sure they're all involved. And then, that's just really what it needs to build a good project on in any ecosystem, to make sure that it's going to last the long haul. And, who knows what's going to happen a year or two from now. KDA might take off, and the funds that you're bringing in now may not seem to be worth a lot, but who knows what they're going to be worth down the road, which may open up even more bridges for you to be able to maybe bring the digital version out quicker, maybe bring more of your merch. How about that? How is your merch been going? Have you been having much luck selling any of your merch or things like that? Have you had any feedback from people? Because I think the hats and everything are really awesome looking. So hopefully more people get involved with that as well.
Well, thanks for that. Yeah, the art. Christina's been working on this, like I said, for almost a year now. It was July of last year when she started. We had the idea, and she just has been working on it in the background. Yeah, it's kind of interesting because all of these characters are different. So they're in different poses, different positions. They're different because they're all based on different models, different people, um, different characters. But she did do them all on her iPad. So they're all drawn, and took her hours. But they are different. With the backgrounds, we had originally planned on going to Japan. We had a trip planned. We were going to go there and just go around taking pictures, and we ended up having to do some AI art for the backdrops, for the backgrounds, just because that trip got canceled due to some family emergencies and stuff. But yeah, all of the characters were done by her, and we're very excited about how they turned out. She's been practicing different techniques and styles and how to get it going, so it looks some different. With the Shiba Shinobi collection, I think that's going to be a lot of fun. They are themed. Uh, there's a few things that are really special about that collection as well. They will. All I can say is that they will be divided amongst some different characteristics or traits, and so we have a lot of good ideas for the Shiba Shinobi collection that will make them in a similar vibe to the Samurai and how it works, but also something quite different. And then with the merchandise, yes, I actually went through and I added T-shirts for every virtue. They're on our website now. Link is in my bio on Twitter. You can go there. You can order hats, T-shirts. There's currently only one hoodie available. That's for Heroic Courage. I'm working once I can get settled next week. I was going to work on adding in more hoodies, trying to get those designs up for everybody. But there are T-shirts currently available. It's summertime, entering summertime in most of the world, so a T-shirt's probably more appropriate. But we'll definitely have more hoodies and like beanies and those kind of things in the store come wintertime. But The merch, really, I haven't really been promoting it too much, honestly, because uh, it's just kind of been a back burner thing. We do have an Amazon storefront that we're going to be trying to integrate more things into over time, but for now, it's just through our website. We have that set up through Printful, and you can go there, and if you come across a virtue that you like and you want that as a shirt, you can just place that as an order. There, the price point is set very low, as low as we could make it, and then you can just place the order, and we ship pretty much worldwide. We set in the shipping costs based on their chart, so it's pretty much just what you're paying for is what we're being charged, more or less, with a little bit of elbow room for just those odd times you get charged more, or we would get charged more for the shipping. Uh, um, for uh, the rest of the collections as they come out, we're planning on trying to do more special things in the store. We're planning posters. Now, I'm running a giveaway currently. There's still time to get into it on Twitter as well. A giveaway for physical print of these 3 pages of the comic book. I haven't run that giveaway yet. I will be running it soon. So get in on that if you can. If you win that, you'll be sent the 3 pages of the comic book as posters. They won't be huge posters, but there'll be some posters you can put on your wall or you can put over your desk. It might be pretty cool. And we're also planning on adding some of that kind of stuff into the store with posters, like the virtues setup where you have a character and a virtue. If there's a particular character you like from a virtue, like it can be not just the title character, but uh, any one that in particular that you really like, you can then um, just let me know, and we can put that particular character on a shirt for you, or any other item that you would like, and we'll get you can get that off the website as well.
Awesome. Well, I know I, for one, am excited for all the work that you guys are putting in and all the future collections you're working at. And I'm glad to see that, your mint has done fairly well for only being open a few days. Hopefully, with doing some more AMAs, spreading some more word out there, that we can get some more mints happening for you. And hopefully, pretty soon, people can start getting their hands on their cards and all that fun stuff. But I, for one, want to thank you for coming back and joining us again tonight, and well, I guess today for you, and updating us on the amazing work that you guys have been doing over at Pit Bulls. And like I said, also when it comes to support for NFTs and things like that, make sure you also reach out to us for Koala Wallet integration and KDA Explorer integrations, so we can make sure that we support you guys there and make sure that we can get things put in the right place and done all properly, because so that people can be able to see their NFTs in the wallet. Because Isoko does offer Koala Wallet through Wallet Connect, so you can connect your Koala Wallet to Isoko to mint Pit Bull NFTs. And like I said, we'll work on getting them into the wallet as quick as possible as well. So make sure you, I'll mention it to the team as well, probably once we're done here. Make a little note of it so that we don't forget. And yeah, but thank you very much for coming back and updating us about this. It's always great talking with you guys. You guys always very positive, and just keep pushing and keep your head down, keep working. And I think within the next maybe month or 2, you guys will have some really good progress, and hopefully a minted out collection, which would be very great to see. So hopefully everyone listening to this goes to Isoko.xyz, go to the marketplace, click on the Pit Bull Bushido's collection link, connect your wallet, and mint yourself some Bushidos and try to collect all 47. That's the goal. So yeah, thank you again for coming back and joining us. It's been really great catching up with you guys.
Well, thank you, Chris. We appreciate that. And yeah, again, I know on KDA, on Kadena, it's kind of a tough market right now, tough crowd, because there have just realistically, there have been a lot of NFT projects that have just just dumped, and unfortunately with Kawaii Canines and Angel Doggos, we're in that mix because of the situation with Mintit. But hopefully by doing this airdrop to everybody and trying our best to keep up with everything that we're trying to do, we'll be able to keep building and keep going. And we're not planning on quitting. Of course, from time to time, you kind of just go, man, is this worth it? I'm putting all this time and effort into this. And, I could have just made more Kadena if I had just put all the money into just buying KDA. But, we're here to actually make something. So we're glad to be here. And we're hoping that we can, build something that's fun and engaging and just bring some life into the ecosystem in a different way.
Yeah, I wouldn't put you guys in the same category as some of the NFT projects that just picked up and left and never came back and just kind of took off with everyone's money, because really it was completely out of your control. If Mintit would have kept going the way they were and kept developing and stuff like that, it'd probably be a whole different story right now, even with Pit Bull Bushido. So it's not like you guys didn't try your best and try your hardest to get those collections out and bring something special to the table. It's just you were dealt kind of a crappy hand when it came to Mintit, but you're keeping your head down, not letting that ruin things for you, and just keep pushing forward. And that's all really that you need to do, and all that anyone should really ask of you to do. So again, thank you guys for coming. Make sure you keep in touch. I'll send some words out to the team to get working on adding the Pit Bull Bushidos. I might link you a form that we have for information that we need to be able to do those kind of things. So yeah, thanks again for joining us. It's been really great catching up, and definitely keep in touch, and we'll do this again very soon, hopefully.
Well, thank you, Chris, and thanks everybody for being here, and we appreciate it, and looking forward to how everything goes.
All right, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. It's been another great AMA. Make sure you guys go and follow Pit Bull Bushido, follow their Twitter, jump in their Discord, get involved, and go hunt yourself down some samurais and collect them all. Just like Pokemon, you got to collect them all. So thank you very much, everyone, for listening today, and take care and have a great day.
That wraps up another amazing AMA. Thank you for listening. Here at KPN, we strive to bring an open platform for projects being built on Kadena to present themselves to the community. Please ensure to do your own research on each project before investing. Also ensure to follow us on all our social media, from Twitter to subscribing to our weekly newsletter, to ensure to keep up to date on everything KDA related. You can find all the links in the description below. Take care.